Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Kakadash, the one to the apostles, and those great millstone for teaching us this truth, peace, and blessings to the hopeful elect of Israel. Shalom. Yahweh is the name of the Honey Father, and Shaper Ba'ashem is the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back on our lesson, and today, going to be going to these lockdowns are coming back. And as we have been saying through the spirit that these lockdowns weren't going anywhere. Matter of fact, we've been saying that they're going to come back. But, people call this crazy. They're not going to do that again. That's not going to happen. When the first lockdown was just a trial run, man. A pop quiz for the true test to come. Especially dealing with the juice mandates that you saw and the restrictions that they had. That was just a little trial run once again. But as you see the situation that's happening over there in China, which I believe I made a lesson going into a couple days ago, when this first started to pretty much kick off over there, as you saw what happened, go back to the year 2020, something similar took place over there in China also. If you know what we're talking about, dealing with the C, I'm going to say 19, trying to space out the word, how these doubles are. But it says Republicans warn lockdowns coming as China pneumonia spreads. So there you go. So this situation could lead to more lockdowns, especially possibly over here in Babylon the Great, aka America, as you saw what happened with the C. I'm gonna just say the 19, so you know what I'm talking about. But let's see. Plays back real quick. So hey, there you go. But as the scriptures go into, 1 Thessalonians 5:3, for when they shall say peace and safety. You're going to have them downplaying the situation and, trying to do damage control, saying everything's all fine and dandy. Look what happened the first time. So the Republican lawmakers sent an urgent plea to President Joe Biden on Friday as concerning rise in pneumonia cases continued across China. So many parts of China have been hit by a surge in the illness, which has particularly affected children. Northern provinces in China experienced a jump in cases for 5 consecutive since mid-October. And you already saw what happened over there, in Shanghai. They're in lockdowns for, a good bit, which I made, multiple lessons going into that situation. You had tons of them pretty much fighting over food, trying to stock up to prepare for that lockdown that took place, and ultimately it's what's coming to Babylon the Great. Look what happened the first time. All the toilet paper was taken, and people going crazy, gas prices skyrocketing. All this is coming back, man, and it's going to be a lot worse. Now, the news triggered global concern following China's lack of transparency regarding the origins of the 19, the spread of which prompted strict public health restrictions and quarantine measures. Now, several states in the U.S. reported an uptick in child pneumonia cases this week, so it could possibly already spread over here, which could lead to them wanting to lock things down once again. Now, they're further raising alarm about the illness, although health officials allege there is zero evidence that the increase is connected to China. Now, let's see what else is at right here, and we'll just get the scriptures. Senator Marco Rubio, a Republican from Florida, has since urged Biden to ban U.S. travel to and from China to stop the spread of any contagion. So you already have them pretty much starting to shut down the traveling now. As the World Health Organization has requested more information from China about the illness, but Rubio advised that Biden shouldn't wait any longer before implementing the travel restrictions. So you're starting to see things starting to roll out. Mandates, making to where you're not able to travel or to go from place to place. So you're already seeing the steps that are being made. And once again, those lockdowns are coming right back, man. And you already saw how, people were fiending for things to go back to so-called normal, to be able to go out and do things that they used to do. And these devils are going to swoop in with the so-called solution as they did last time. A lot of people are going to hop on board right along with it. But as we are warning you to, stay away from it, man. Because you already saw the many cases and articles that go into a lot of people much being taken out from taking a certain something, if you know what we're talking about. Which I pretty much got my first channel taken down for, speaking on that, as well as many other brothers have, But as 1 Thessalonians 5:3, as I briefly mentioned earlier, for when there shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So there's destruction coming to this place. There's no peace nor safety, man. Especially with these leaders trying to do damage control, saying nothing's going to happen. Everything's all fine and dandy. But now this is really going to be these devils really tightening that grip. Going back to Revelation 12:12, going to that great wrath these devils going to come down with. Because though it so-called started over there, in China, look what happened last time, You already have these devils cooking things up, behind the scenes in these labs. So could be using that, as a front. Because you saw how they blamed, once again, China over there, but somehow it all got directed towards Jacob, man, Israel. Yeah, so you see how these devils are, man. 2 Ezra 16:37-39. As behold, the plagues draw nigh and are at slack. So this is where you're seeing an increase of plagues, pestilence. And also going to that word, not slack, means not letting up, meaning it's constant. And it really just goes to show the times that we are in. Verse 38, as when a woman with child in 9th month brings forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains can pass her womb. So we're getting closer and closer to that deliverance. And when we're getting closer to that deliverance, those birth pains are going to be at its peak, at its climax. And once in a while, we're seeing a lot of things happening, dealing with the weather, plagues, pestilences, judgments, which is all the doing of the Heavenly Father, which get in Deuteronomy 30:7, as well as many other scriptures going to how this is the work of the Lord. Now, say which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. So you see that word slack being brought up once again. So it's not going to let up anytime soon, man. Matter of fact, these things are going to increase and get even worse until our Lord Yahushua returns and sets things back in order. Dethrones and takes out these devils, man. These heathen nations. Verse 39, even so shall not the plagues be slacked upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. So there's no escaping this thing, man. No matter where you go, as you see, Jake would like to bring up the question, do we buy plane tickets to flee America? This and that. Trust in Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai, man. 2 Ezra 15:49, now it says, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine. Seeing famine brewing, especially dealing with the famine of the word. The constant algorithm changes these devils make, which obviously they're going to use, other things as a so-called problem and the reason for implementing those restrictions, but mainly it's because of us. They're trying to hinder this truth, trying to keep this truth from getting out. But in doing so, you're fulfilling prophecy, doing the exact opposite of what you wanted to do. Thinking you're stopping it, but matter of fact, you are fulfilling it, man. And that just goes to show how cold Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai is, man. So I keep going to, you can't do anything against the truth, but for the truth. And I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy house with destruction and death. And you're seeing those plagues, those pestilences, that the Lord is raining upon this place, man. So that's why we're to seek out Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai and repent and get right before it's too late. Because once again, you're not really part of that number that's left behind and that's caught up in the midst of these coming afflictions, adversities, and the great judgments that the Lord's going to unleash upon this place, man. Because the scripture going to how we're heading some times that have never been seen before and all throughout history, man. So if you're not under the hedge, under the protection of Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai, you're finished, man. Because without the Lord, you are completely through. No ifs or buts about it. Simple as that. 2 Ezra 15:15-17. Main verse is going to be the 17th verse. Verse 15, for the sword and the destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And you're obviously going to have people not wanting to go back into lockdowns. They're not liking the idea of it. because you already saw, many people were fined and even jailed for not wanting to, wear masks and all those different things, not abiding by the curfews, whatever the case may be. You saw something similar over there in Shanghai, China, when those lockdowns were in place. They had drones and robot dogs patrolling the streets to make sure people weren't breaking the curfew, man. And you already see the police officers been given authorization to use robots. I already have robot police officers patrolling, so hey, we're in those times, man. Verse 16, for there should be sedition among men. Going into pretty much rioting, which we can get the word sedition. Now it says, not really what I wanted. This is a good one right here. Now it says sedition, incitement to riot/rebellion is ultimately all we need right there. But let's see, rebellion, revolt, insurrection, rioting, insurgents, resistance, defiance, and that's what we're seeing. An increase as of late, but especially with these mandates and restrictions that are going to come. A lot of people are not going to like it. But it says they should not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of action shall stand in their power, the kings and princes being people that are in authority. Those your mayors, your presidents. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into his city and shall not be able. So you already have them having talks of shutting down transportation. Or we've seen a few cases over here in Babylon. And already many over there in China. So this could be the next big thing that takes place. So Yahweh Hashem is starting to kick things into a whole nother gear, man. And we're already pretty much at the end of this year already, man. So you already know things are going to continue to turn up, and pick up even more, man. So even more reason to tighten up, to seek out the Lord, especially for those that haven't already. Now let's get a few more scriptures. I'm going to shut off from there. Isaiah 10:1. Now it says, woe unto them that decree righteous decrees and not right grievances which they have prescribed, going to draconian and harsh like laws that are going to implement. As you saw with the first lockdown, with the juice mandates, brothers were ready and willing to not take that thing, and willing to risk losing their job. Even in my area, they were incentivizing people to take it. I believe it was like a free $75 or $70, if you went out and took it. But that was just a prelude, as was a pop quiz, a trial run for the true test to come. Because you had many Israelites that bent the knee, that cracked under that pressure and took that juice, man. So imagine when it comes with the MOTB. That's going to be a lot worse, man. Because you literally won't be able to do anything without it. As you pretty much saw already with the juice. Now we got 3 more. This is Ecclesiastes 5:7. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord. Make no delay. Seek out Yahweh Bashmal Shai now. And putting off from day to day, as you see many of our people are putting off the Lord. Especially when they come to hear this truth, and they get told that we're not to eat or do certain things, then Jake starts to tune out. Because it wants to go against their way of living, against the fashions of this world and what they are comfortable with. Jake don't want a part of it, man. Because Jake is comfortable here, man. Jake loves it here. Going to Micah 2:10, but this place is destroying you, man. You should not want to rest in this place. We are in captivity. And those that want to think that, everything's all fine and dandy, Yahweh Hashem is going to remind you the place that we're in, man. Because ultimately this world is without the fear of Yahweh Bashma Shai except the elect. Because the elect fear the Lord. They have this understanding, this knowledge of this truth. And fear is part of that, man. That's why I keep going to how fear is the beginning of wisdom. As for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and thy security. Just when you think you're safe, just when you think you're protected, thou shalt be destroyed. I see many people are putting their faith and trust in Esau, Edom. I made a lesson recently going to how the trust and shadow of Egypt be your shame and your confusion. It's going to come to bite you, in the butt, man. And perish in the day of vengeance. Now let's close with these last two. It's Romans 13:11. And then knowing the time now is high time to wake out of sleep. Not physically, but spiritually. Open your eyes, man. For now is our salvation nearer than we believe. So we're nearing, the end of this devil's kingdom, getting closer and closer to our Lord Yahweh's return. Now our salvation is nearly, as we're seeing more chariot sightings starting to take place, which is another telltale sign. A great sign for those in this truth, but a terrible sign for those people that are of this world. As Habakkuk 2:3, as if for the vision is yet for an appointed time, we were in those appointed times as written and spoken of in the scriptures. But yet many of our people want to, turn the blind eye. And ultimately, Yahweh Shai is blocking them from receiving it. A spiritual helmet on them, man. That's going to how they're spiritually discerned, man. But the vision is at the point in time, but shall speaking out lie, they would tarry, wait for it, because it should come. It would not tarry, meaning it would not delay it. But also going to show how grateful we should be that the Lord has opened our eyes to this thing, man. Giving us a chance at salvation, revealing unto us his holy name, as well as his son's name, man. Yahweh Shai. We have the names, man. And you have IUIC pushing, we don't know the name. The name's not important. Man, shut up, man. But kind of, wandering off track. I don't want to, start the lesson any longer than it needs to be. But pretty much the main point, as you see, lockdowns aren't going anywhere. And we'll see what I put for the title, but Lord's speak too fast. Lord's lesson was edifying and to the point, and you're edified throughout the whole thing. I do want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kakadash, Deborah to the apostles, and else great millstone for teaching his truth. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of Israel, and Shalom. See you in the next one, Lord willing.